Well, welcome. I'm Dr. Daryl Green. This is MKTG 4373, which is our small business marketing course. What we are showing today is the climax of our final presentations. I believe that what you're going to be seeing is innovative. We're using the concept of micro internships, where we team up students with a business partner for over 14 to 15 weeks, and they present results. So we have two sessions. We're going to do a session today, Tuesday, and a session Thursday. We have about 5 presentations that we're going to go ahead and get started. So next up is Team 6. Team 6, you're up.
Thank you, Dr. Green. Let me share my screen with you guys. Perfect. Can you guys see that?
Yes.
All right, well, let's get started. Like you said, Team 6. I was the team lead, Bridge Bullard, and we also had Robert Lillifee on social media, and Jackson was helped support us from the background. And we worked with Vista Rose Estates, which was our client was actually Mr. Josh Trimble, and he was our contact for that client and who we worked with. So here's kind of the agenda of what we're going to go over today. Start off with the background of Vista Rose Estates, move into the problem we found after some analysis, the strategy we decided to go at, and then the schedule, what we ended up doing, kind of the work we put in, and then actually show you some results we have from today. So like I said, Vista Rose Estates, it is a new development here in Northern Shawnee. Phase 1 is 25 lots, as you can see on the right. That is the actual plan for those first 25 lots. It's a part of North Rock Creek Schools. Really, the great thing about it is the amenities they have already set up. That being public water supply, natural gas, electricity, and fiber optics. All those are already set and ready to go. So if you decide to build your house there, you really have all those amenities that you could want and need. And also just the location being a little bit north of Shawnee, you kind of get out of the city and get that nature feel, but still have the community of the development as well as just the space you need. So here's kind of a tool Dr. Green gave us in class as a stoplight analysis, using colors to show you how well the situation is when we analyze it. So in red, there's no website, no social media. There's really no online presence to look at in terms of Vista Rose Estates. In yellow, I put great product, and you may think this should go in green, but in reality, a great product is only great if people know about it. So I put this in yellow because there's really no way for people to hear about that. And in green was just Mr. Trimble's attitude. He was very willing to grow and open to change and open to suggestions we had for him. So just kind of a summary of what was the issue we found. They really are very early in development. As you can see on the right, they're still getting those main roads laid out for everyone. And then also, like I said, there's no social media presence, no online presence at all for people to find that outside of driving by the actual development. So kind of our strategy moving forward, we decided the best thing for us to do with the state of the development and with Mr. Trimble is just to get a foundation laid for him. 2 parts to that foundation is the first one being website development. None of us are website developers or programmers or anything like that. But we did hook them up with people from Upworks, vendors that were very capable and willing to build a website for him. So we gave him that connection. And then what we decided to take on was social media. We decided to go with Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn and get those accounts created and just give him that presence online that people could actually find this development without having to drive by it. So here's kind of a work overview of what practically happened throughout these 4 months we worked with him. So in February, we had the team set up. We organized team duties like I showed you on the second slide, and then got in contact with Mr. Trimble and what he was looking for and expecting from us throughout this semester. In March, we got our strategy laid out. We decided to go with social media, as I showed you, and give him that foundation that he could utilize moving forward. And then April, we began posting on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. So got the social media accounts created, got those posts out, and then finally got some advertisements ran these last couple of weeks, actually. Then in May, that's where we are right now. Conclusion and results. Got that foundation laid for him and got that engagement and results for him. And now Robert's going to talk about our results.
Ridge, thank you so much for that part of the presentation. And all the reviewers that have come, thanks so much for listening for this time. And if anyone is looking to build a new house in Shawnee, just talk to us after the presentation and we can get you hooked up with Josh. But as for the results for our efforts with Vista Rose Estates, we had 2 campaigns running, and unfortunately we weren't able to complete the second, but it was sort of a hot A/B test. And if you're not familiar with an A/B test on the digital platforms, it's where you have one ad in the second period. So in the second period, we changed part of this ad that you see on the right. We made it a little more condensed, and then it performed a whole lot better, even though it hasn't completed, but it's about 25% ahead of where the first ad was. So as you can see, we've reached 8,000 people, and we've had 128 people click on the links of the ads, and that was with $45 worth of ad spend. So outside of that, we got Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn connected. And as a team, we learned a lot about working together, and we had some problems at the beginning with some communication, and we got that fixed and sorted out, and we're pretty excited about those results that we were able to come up with. And through this, problem solving is probably the biggest because it's incorporated into every part of our project. So that's all we have from Team 6 and Vista Rose Estates. Thank you all so much. And if you have any questions, now is the time. So thank you.
Thank you, Team 6. Just want to know, is the client in the session?
I
Okay.
do not think he was able to make it, no.
Okay, good deal. So we'll here's the reviewers order. We'll start with Rudebach, Polk, Brandon, and Hattie in that order. So Dr. Rudebach, you leading us off.
Rich and Robert, good job on that presentation, by the way. I would like to ask you guys, I'll give you a softball question up front. What's the thing that you did that you're the most proud of?
For me personally, I'm proud of how we overcame challenges. We had some issues with teamwork and communication, just getting in touch with Mr. Trimble at the beginning. So I'm proud of how we were able to overcome that and have some good results to show at the end of it, despite that.
Okay.
Anybody else? Okay, Dr. Polk.
Engagement is extremely important when it comes to social media presence. How did you choose Facebook, Insta, and LinkedIn as opposed to other platforms?
Sure, I'll take that, Bridge. So with Facebook, the demographic is a lot older than Instagram and LinkedIn. And so with us selling lots available to build on, we wanted to target an older demographic because they tend to make more money than the younger demographic. So.
Okay.
Thank you, Doctor.
Mr. Brandon.
Yeah, I'm curious, given A, that this was a capstone project, and B, the nature of your assignment, real estate, not something you typically learn about in college. I'm curious, what's something new that you learned during this process?
I'll take that one, Bridge. Something I learned, I've actually had a couple real estate internships, and I've never been involved in a real estate development like this. And something that I learned is that it's really just Josh Trimble doing this, and it's almost $1 million project that he's working on, just him and his wife. And it's just something that I learned is that you can do it if you just put your mind to it. So thank you.
Ms. Hattie.
Thank you. I really want to congratulate you guys. You did a remarkable job. You look impeccable. You communicated clearly. You were very thorough. And I just want to ask one question about with all the social media and so forth that you set up for this new organization. So did you teach Mr. Trimble how to continue on with this type of communication? Or did he already know how? Did he already have these skills? And so when you guys step aside, he's going to be able to continue?
Yes, I'll answer that, Robert. We had meetings with him in that we showed him and talked to him about how you can target ads to a certain location. So that's one of the benefits of Facebook. We talked to him about how you can if you want, you're targeting people in Shawnee, you can just put that location on the advertisement and focus on people in that area. So that was something he didn't know, and I think he can utilize that moving forward after we're done working with him.
Thank you. Great job.
Hey, Ms. O'Donnell, let them know where you're from. I need to deal with the other reviewers, but go ahead and let them know where you from, what company you represent.
I represent Oak Ridge Associated Universities, better known as ORAU, that runs the ORISE contract. We do fellowships throughout the federal agencies and all over the world.
And where are you located?
I'm located in Oak Ridge, Tennessee.
Okay, we have Mr. Conley Rader. He's a reviewer. Did you get a chance? Were you able to see it, Conley?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, you got a few comments from questions?
Yeah, I wanted to get a little more insight into, did you guys have any like specific challenges you faced when you're going through creating the ads? I know that Facebook ads can be kind of a wormhole into some really crazy stuff. So did you guys hit any roadblocks? Personally, I know that you guys got some great results, but I wonder if there's any like challenges you felt like kind of hindered some of your ability.
Yeah, a great question, Connolly. I was creating the ads, and one problem that we ran into is that housing is actually a special ad category on Facebook. So we kind of had to have special permission. So it kind of backlogged us about a week and a half or two. And so that was difficult. But then also, it's not like you're not selling a broom online. And so this is a lifelong commitment that we're trying to sell. So figuring out, if we go the professional route and try to stick to something small and concise, or selling a vision, it was kind of difficult. And honestly, I wish we had a little more time to do this, but those were some of the problems that we faced.
So Conley, tell them who you work with, your title, and where you're at.
Yeah, so I am currently the director of user experience at a company called Giant Worldwide. We're a leadership consultancy, kind of remote companies. We're not really based anywhere. But I'm calling in from Guthrie, Oklahoma. So
good deal. And we've had Brandon. Brandon might give a shout out to where you're at and let them know.
Yep, Brandon Gilbert. I live in St. Louis, Missouri, and I work for a company called Tenable Network Security. I am a regional sales manager, and I'm responsible for Missouri, Iowa, Nebraska, and Kansas, working with large enterprises.
Okay, and both Conley and Brandon are alumni. Conley is one of my first marketing students graduated. Dr. Pope?
Hi, I am an associate professor of marketing management leadership at King University in Knoxville, Tennessee. I'm also the program coordinator for our professional MBA program.
We have the wonderful dynamic Rudabach and also Dr. Hogue. So we're gonna pivot to let's give a virtual applause for Team 6. Next up, Team 7, you up.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for coming. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Okay. Okay. Hey, everybody. Welcome, and thank you for coming. My name is Taryn Weber, and my partner, Tyler Seaver, he will not be able to join us today due to a family emergency, but we had the client Big Brothers Big Sisters of Oklahoma out of Shawnee. In this picture on the right, I was the team lead and Tyler was a team representative that really helped a lot with the hands-on at our event. What we're going to go over today is a little bit of the background of Big Brothers Big Sisters, kind of our role and what we did for this internship, a little bit of analysis of the company, our marketing strategy, and then kind of where we finished. So a little bit about Big Brothers Big Sisters, if you don't know what it is, it's a worldwide, well-known organization, a nonprofit that is based on mentorship for young adults and kids, for just like stability relationship and really building that community, and that is in Shawnee. Our role in this internship was really Nikki's right and left hands. Our goal was to get involved at OBU, which is where we go to school. So that was really convenient. throw a legendary fundraising event, promote the mentorship, and just raise awareness for Big Brothers Big Sisters on campus and just in the community. So kind of a little bit of our stoplight chart was the red was kind of there. She had no access to OBU at the current time, whereas getting mentors to sign up in OBU's doors. So we did have a meeting with somebody in OBU to kind of get that started and see where we could go with her and Big Brothers Big Sisters. For yellow, our social media presence, it was there, but it needed a lot of improvement. And we actually hit a pretty big roadblock with that because her board of directors was not really on board with starting a new social media platform or building on different posts that we could put out there, kind of like boosting posts for marketing campaigns and stuff like that. But the best thing that we got to see was the event marketing and her fundraising. And that was super green. And as you'll see later, it was the best part of this project and the biggest thing that we got to do. So a little bit of a SWOT analysis of what we did before we started. Strengths for her company, obviously Big Brothers Big Sisters is nationwide. It's really an established nonprofit organization. That was really great. Some weaknesses is that at the Shawnee location, Nikki is the only one that works there and she runs it all by herself. Obviously she has her authority, but hands-on, she's the one there. Some opportunities that we saw for her was that getting access to OBU would probably be really important for her mentorship aspects because it's right here in Shawnee and full of lots of students that might have that calling to help in the community. And some threats is there's some different organizations that are very similar, like Bison Buddies and other Big Brothers Big Sisters locations, and YMCA also has a similar program. So our marketing strategy was posting a video online on Facebook, and that was to promote mentorship. We unfortunately weren't able to get that posted onto their Facebook page. They didn't want to boost that either. So it was posted on my personal page and tagged to their page so that it would show up on their timeline so that their followers could see it. We also passed out all of these bags to previous donors that normally donate and then people that hadn't donated yet. And we kind of took those to 12 to 14 businesses all around Shawnee and the area that normally contribute and support Big Brothers Big Sisters. And that was really cool. A little bit of a timeline. We started in February and kind of got some meetings on the board. And then through that big chunk of March and April, we really helped her focusing on the bowling event, which is Bowl for Kids' Sake, and that was April 29th. And so that was kind of our biggest piece where we were meeting with her and doing different things that were going to promote the event, like the kickoff party and different stuff like passing out the bags and creating some marketing. So here was the big event that we got to do. It was at Fire Lake Bowling and we got to throw that. It was super awesome. We got to help set it up and be a part of it. And that was really, Tyler was the main part of the event day operations. And so that was really awesome to see everybody show up for that. So kind of our results of our internship, which mainly focused on our Bowl for Kids' Sake event. Our goal was $40,000 for the whole event, which would be for this year. There were 38 teams that were created. 27 of those were physical bowling teams that showed up that day to bowl. We really got to help Nikki set up, and Tyler and I created a virtual team that did not physically bowl, and our team did raise $53. And our final number after the fundraiser was $58,549. So we did meet that goal and kind of blew it out of the water. And she was really, really excited about that. So client feedback from Nikki, she was so excited. She really enjoyed getting to work with OBU. She really, really enjoyed the help. We got to help her a lot with the night of the event, and that was a very large task. And so that was really great. Some lessons learned for me personally, I really enjoyed working for a nonprofit and getting to see how that works and how it works with having like a board of directors that she directly answers to. And that was really cool to see. And Tyler did say he learned that communication is super important. Our mentors, my mentor was Morgan Davenport and Tyler's was Eli Paul. And that was a mentorship for the semester that we got to do where we talked to OBU alumni about kind of their experience in the work world. I think I missed. So in conclusion, we did meet our goal. We learned a lot from our internship and we were really able to give her a lot of ideas to help building that brand in the Shawnee community. And now we'll open it up for questions. Who has the first question?
Hey, thank you so much. We're gonna go with rotation. Polk, Gilbert, O'Donnell, Raider, and back to Rudabaugh.
Great job of exceeding the dollar amount goal, excuse me. My question is in regards to the promotional video that was posted on social media. Is that a video that you all created, or is that something that Big Brother, Big Sister already had available?
We actually created 3 videos, and some of them were to use kind of on a website or posting on, like, OBU has TVs around campus, and we were kind of hoping to give her some different materials to use. So we did create a couple videos using their content that they already had. So it was pictures and stuff that they gave us and provided, but we did put it together.
Gilbert?
Great job on the presentation. And I in particularly think that your SWOT analysis was pretty well thought out. And that leads me to believe that you probably did some pretty good research on the front end and good preparation. So I'm kind of curious if you can talk a little bit about how you all got started with this project, maybe what the first month or so was like, and, you know, kind of what led to you being able to be this level of, you know, preparedness.
So we met with her obviously in February, and me and Tyler, we knew what Big Brothers Big Sisters was, but for me personally, I wasn't 100% sure how a nonprofit works, and I didn't realize the regionalization and that there's different locations that do completely different things. They are all under the same umbrella, but they're very different. And so kind of getting started, we really had to sit down a couple different meetings with her, and she actually had like a packet of information that we were going to go over about what is Big Brothers Big Sisters, what do they do, what is their goal, what is like what the fundraising goes to, you know, kind of her status in the company. And so really getting started was just us sitting down and listening and learning, because we needed to know what we were getting into before we were walking around to businesses in Shawnee essentially asking for donations. We need to be able to back what we're saying before we go out, you know. So that was really important.
Thank you. O'Donnell?
Well, as a former director of a nonprofit organization that was cities in the Denver, Colorado area, I really appreciate the work that you guys put into this project. I mean, quite frankly, I'm really amazed at the work that you all put in this project. I mean, with the videos and putting the fundraiser alone was so much energy and effort. I'm just surprised and really proud of the effort that you guys made towards the project. And your team must have formed and gotten along super right away to be able to lay everything out that you needed to do in this semester to accomplish this goal. So I just wanted to ask a simple question. And do you think that this project will affect some of your decisions that you're going to make in the future and what you'll do career-wise?
Yes, I think it definitely has a lot of influence on, I already have a career lined up, but in the future, I've always had an interest in nonprofits, and I personally really loved getting to work with this nonprofit. Big Brothers Big Sisters specifically was really awesome, but I think being with a company and an organization that has such a strong culture and organization like that was really, I could easily be passionate about something like that and could totally, you know, line up a job that would be down that path.
Thank you very much. Really great job.
Thank you.
Raider?
Yeah, really great job. I also loved the design of the presentation. It was beautiful. Yeah, my question actually also aligns with kind of you mentioning kind of really enjoying working with nonprofits. I'd love to hear just kind of what it is about nonprofit work that I don't know, makes you engage with it, and yeah, what is it that you appreciated about working with them specifically?
I just really felt like we weren't at a job, which this was a micro internship, so it's a little bit different, but I didn't feel like it was assignments. I really felt like we got to make a difference and actually hands-on help the community build a bridge with the community between this mentorship program and what it could be if we got the right tools down the road and got enough resources. Obviously, it's very small with it being one employee, but I think it was just easy to show up and be a part of it and get to do all of that stuff. And I feel like that being able to be passionate about something like that with a nonprofit organization would be really easy for me personally to get on board with.
Awesome.
Ruderbach, thank you. Ruderbach.
Aaron, thanks for your work on this. I'm just curious from a practical perspective, how much advance notice did you have that you would be doing the entire presentation yourself?
Yesterday. Okay.
Well, obviously you have the background knowledge to be able to put it together. You handled it very professionally. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is the client in the room?
No, she was not able to make it. She had a meeting today.
So this is just an update. All the teams, and I want to thank Dr. Ruderbach and I want to thank Mr. Gilbert, have practiced on these presentations. Team 6 presentation was 5 minutes and 30 seconds. And team 7 was 6 minutes and 7 seconds, which was all in the same line. Let's give them a virtual applause. Okay, we got to work on that, folks. All right, our next up is team 4. Team 4, you up.
Okay, can y'all see that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Emily Lomith with Team 4, and I worked alongside Katie and Kaylee. And we actually had 2 clients this semester. So I was the team lead for Southern Soul Livestream, and that's who we're going to be talking about today. We would also like to give a quick shout out to our mentors, Chloe, Brittany, and Michaela, for helping us throughout the semester. So for our agenda today, we're going to cover our client background, scope of work, where we started, our analysis, where we finished, our client feedback, lessons learned, and conclusion. So just to give a quick overview of our client, we were working with Calvin Baldwin. He is the host, producer, and CEO of Southern Soul. He wears many hats within the organization and does a lot of the work himself. So it was nice to be able to come in and assist him. The show is an interactive talk show and live stream. It goes live every Thursday night with a live audience on Zoom, and it's recorded and also produced as a podcast. We had weekly meetings on Zoom with Calvin where we discussed what we had done the past week and what we were going to be doing for the upcoming week. For our scope of work, one of our main goals was to create a directory of speakers and strategic alliances, or the DSSA. This is a spreadsheet of potential speakers along with their benefit for the show and strategic alliances that would provide support or sponsorship for a show. Design a guest promotion sheet in order for guests to be able to promote to their audience and increase the reach. Research platforms and marketing tools. The show is currently on Zoom, but we were able to do some research to help him just kind of expand on those platforms potentially to use in the future, in marketing tools, specifically an SMS texting tool. We also created and posted to the social media pages. So this is an overview of where we started. We wanted to get benchmark numbers within the beginning of our internship. So this is from January 27th to February 23rd, just that first month on our Facebook page. So the likes were at 2,255, post reach was at 45,834 people, and post engagement was at 3,237 people.
So here's a list of the analysis that we did throughout the semester. This is able to help us better understand where our client was at whenever we first got started with him, and also help us gauge on how we can help them throughout the semester. And one of the analysis that we would like to highlight is our stoplight chart. So our stoplight shows in yellow what our client needed to work on, and then in green what he was doing well. So first, with what he needed to work on, he had an effective communication channel. He had an email platform that he would use to send out before the show. And as Emily said, we suggested an SMS tool as well as doing an email follow-up after the show to get feedback. And then his online presence is also something that needed to be worked on because he had to completely redo his Facebook page. So he had to rebuild his brand that way. And then some things that he did well was define customers and service. He knew exactly who he wanted to target with his target audience and who he wanted to target. And those were people who didn't have access to learn about the education and topics that he was talking about on his talk show. And this marketing strategy was to build creative content that would draw people to his Facebook page. And one of the ways that we did that was through speaker spotlights. And so as pictured is Dr. Daryl Green and Miss Yvette Freeman. We had a speaker spotlight basically saying a little background about them and what they were going to be discussing on the show. And then that was able to have Dr. Green reshare it to his page and bring people to Calvin's Facebook page that way. And then at the bottom of the screen is an example of the directory that we made and how it was formatted. And then where we ended, our Facebook page likes went up to 2,732. This was an increase of 477 likes from where we started. Our post reach increased 134% from last month, and our post engagement increased 158%.
Some recommendations that we had for our client was to allow the guests from the shows to be more involved in the promotion, so that way he could reach a larger reach, and to find sponsorships for the show. That's something that he said he wanted to look at in the future, and we recommended that because we think that would be a big help for a show. And to utilize videos on social media, that's also another way to help bring a larger audience and reach the people that he wants to reach. As you can tell here, this was a quote that we had from Calvin. He was very grateful to work with us, just as grateful as we were to work with him. He gave us a lot of knowledge that we wouldn't have had if we didn't work with him, and we were able to provide him with some help that he needed as well. A lesson that I learned was the importance of organization for a remote small business. He was super organized and knew how to navigate everything in his business. So that really helped us going in. He was able to show us how he wanted everything, and he had a way that he wanted it and was able to organize it and utilize it in the best way for him.
From my lesson learned, I learned how to adapt to an online work environment. With Calvin being located in Georgia, we had to learn how to work on Zoom. We even held a work meeting to where we could work with each other on Zoom to go through our marketing campaign. So I learned how to work on an online platform.
And I learned that marketing differs across different industries. This is an industry that I had never worked in before, so it was cool to see how marketing plays a part in that. Thank you guys so much, and we are now open for questions.
Thank you so much. We actually, I believe, have the client in the room. So Mr. Baldwin, can you give us some real-time feedback on what you thought about your team?
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. Great job, ladies. Once again, enjoyed working with the ladies. I wish I could have them for another semester, just because as we were getting really good into some of the numbers and the analytics, then the summer was over. So the only thing I would do differently is have more time. So great job and best wishes to all.
Good deal. Thank you. Always good to get the client input real time. So we're going to start with Gilbert, O'Donnell, Rader, Ruderbach, and then Pope.
Yeah, this presentation made my heart happy. I think I've been in a class with most of you at some point now, and I've hammered about transitions and the way that y'all seamlessly handed off to each other and trusted your teammate to pick up where they needed to go and run with it made my heart so very happy. We've had excellent presentations all day today, but I really love that. But to me, that kind of highlighted team dynamics. That's an important thing. And so it seemed like you had good chemistry in the presentation, but I'm curious how these team tasks were assigned either on the front end or even during the project itself. And were things always this great behind the scenes?
Yeah, so a lot of the work that we did was actually just done together because we were able to coordinate that and get things done to get all of our input on certain things. The only issue we had was scheduling, just because of different schedules and events and sports and all that. So that was the only challenge, but we were able to make that work and really just work together on everything.
Yeah. All right, Ms. O'Donnell.
Thank you. My question's really basically along the same lines. I wanted to know what your biggest challenges were and that you faced, or the biggest challenge, I will say. And obviously it wasn't getting along, and you had a great team that worked very well together. And let me just say, I'm super impressed with the team. Very good job.
Thank you so much. Mr. Rader?
Yeah, I appreciated your kind of action items for your client by the end of it, to give him kind of some feedback, insights on where to go. I was wondering if there were kind of any concrete steps you gave him to take as far as like getting more interaction from the audience, like were there anything, I don't know, concrete examples of ways that he could do that you were able to offer him?
Yeah, I think for us, it wasn't necessarily specifics because Calvin was actually really good with what he does, very talented in marketing and very talented in kind of increasing all of those numbers. So for us, it was more so just suggestions on ways that from an outsider perspective, we saw that could improve. But another thing we did was send out a survey to people that attend the show regularly. So we were able to get feedback there, and that stuff kind of helped us navigate, where to go from there as well.
Rudebach?
Congratulations, ladies. Nice job. Appreciate your work. My question is maybe for the entire class is how were the clients chosen or assigned?
I can answer that, Rudebach. I looked at dynamics and I tried to put them in the best position to win. So I just tried to look at the dynamics and tried to put them into place. And sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes we have to quit and start over again. So that's the dynamic just because the clients and just with the students.
Thank you.
Okay. Pope?
Two things. Calvin, I have tuned into your show before and you guys do a great job. In regards to sponsorships, I'm curious, how specific was your suggestion or recommendation to them? Were they recommended to go look into financial sponsorships, PR sponsorships? How specific did you all get?
We didn't get super specific because this was something that Calvin mentioned that he wanted to do in the future. But he said he wants to look into kind of expanding his platform a little bit more before he starts doing that, just because he's holding it on Zoom now. And he also, he doesn't necessarily want to do it for free, but he wants to kind of look at different ways to be able to do sponsorships and whatnot. So through certain people. So that's something he would just kind of help or kind of held in the back of his mind. And we kind of told him ways he could do that, but we didn't go super into depth on that one.
Good deal. The team 4 presentation was 5 minutes and 37 seconds. So great job on pulling that together. Let's give them a virtual. Use your reactions and give them some kind of applause. Thank you. That's great. Next up is team 3. Team 3, you're up.
Okay, let me share my screen. Can y'all see it?
Yes, great job.
So as Dr. Green said, we are team 3 and I'm Dakota Jones. I was the team lead for this micro internship, and Trevor Evans was my partner and he was in charge of product development. Before we get into it, I just wanted to quick shout out our mentors, which were Carson Gunn and Caleb Green. So we worked with A&Z Juices. For this presentation, we're going to go over the organizational background, our scope of work, and our marketing strategies that we went over, our detailed schedule, then some results, our lessons learned, and the overall conclusion.
So first up, here's a little organizational background on A&Z Juices. They're based out of Atlanta, Georgia, under the instruction and construction of Chef Malik Archibald. He doesn't do this alone, though. He's assisted by his son, Ishmael Archibald. And this is just a fascinating story for me and Dakota, kind of heartwarming. Father-son duo taking it on and just putting their names out there, giving it a shot. This isn't Mr. Archibald's first go at a business. He's actually a small business owner currently of a catering business known as Your Personal Chef. He started this in 1998 with the background from the International Culinary Arts School in Atlanta, Georgia as well. So he has some experience under his belt. He's a knowledgeable person. So next we're going to talk about some of our analysis. And Dr. Green gave us a lot of analytical tools this semester to help our client. One thing we're going to talk about in specific is our stoplight chart. So from increasing from not so good to better, from red to green, they didn't have any brand awareness. They hadn't posted on social media since 2019. You know, that's 3 years ago. Doesn't seem like it, but 3 years ago. Another thing is they didn't have enough supply for a high demand. So one thing Dakota and I had to do was not increase too much traffic to his pages, but just lay a foundation for his brand. You know, get that interest started before this juice comes out. And when it does, they have something to fall back on. Another thing is he had his products already developed. He just needed to get a validation study to a manufacturer so that they could produce his juice. And Dr. Green, of course, he has a lot of connections. He gave us a couple that could have helped him with this, so we're thankful for that. On top of this, another good thing is he already had his social media pages made. So that's one thing that Dakota didn't have to do, but we did a great job, I think, on our social media pages.
I'm sorry about changing my class. But along the lines of our detailed schedule, we wanted to just go over briefly the main things that we did. So Trevor and I decided to post bi-weekly so we could create a smaller traffic coming in. And then we wanted to track weekly the traffic on our social media to see how much we're getting and making sure that it's enough, but not too much. We started an ad campaign and we ran it for 2 weeks on Facebook. And then we also published a media release. So on Instagram and Facebook, Trevor made these graphics and we made beautiful graphics with really good captions and we made sure we post them on all our social medias. So here are 2 examples on the left. And then on the right is our media release that I wrote. We actually got it published in the Shawnee News Star, the OBU Bison News, and I posted it on my LinkedIn and we had 15 likes and 1 share. So results, when we started out, we had 98 followers on Facebook and 12 on Instagram, and Trevor will go over the ending results. But when we started our marketing campaign, that's when we started to reach people and having increased traffic on Facebook. But as soon as we were done that marketing campaign, it went down tremendously. And Instagram, it only stayed up for about 3 days and went down again. Our campaign results, we did it for brand awareness and we did it on Facebook. We reached 1,300 people and we had 15 link clicks. We had 20 post engagements and I decided to place it in Georgia, South Carolina, and Alabama because those were the places he was already selling his juices. We realized that the ages were from 18 to 49 and the majority of them were women. Some client feedback from Chef Malik, he stated that he loved working with us and he really enjoyed that we were able to share what we knew about marketing and how to help his company.
So now we're going to talk about some lessons that Dakota and I learned. Number 1, communication is extremely crucial. Dakota was the lead, so she was mostly in charge of that, and I'm just extremely grateful and proud of her because not only did she have to communicate with him, mostly just him because I had practice and work, but she had to communicate his desires to me as well. And I think we got a lot accomplished because of her communication.
And then one thing that I learned is that business connections are very good and they're really extremely things that you need to look for when you are starting a business. And I think that if Chef Malik had more business connections, he would be going greatly, which he still is, but he would be bigger.
So here's just a little conclusion. Instagram witnessed an increase in followers by 3 times. And that's just impressive, I feel like, considering we don't have a product out yet and that they haven't posted since 2019. Facebook realized a 32% increase in followers as well. This is just, I feel like it's pretty impressive, all things considered. Another thing is Dakota and myself recognize an indefinite % increase in experience. It's just been a pleasure working with him and his company and just getting this experience, analyzing his competitors. And we're just so happy and grateful that Dr. Green allowed us this opportunity to work with his cousin.
And thank you. That's all I have. Are there any questions?
Thank you so much. Is the client in the room?
No, he was unable to make it.
Okay, so we're gonna go with O'Donnell and Rader, Rudebach, Pope, and back to Gilbert.
Excuse me. Great job, you guys. I really liked it that you acknowledged how you had grown and experienced. I thought that that was wonderful. I just want to ask you, what kind of competition is in your area?
So he is remote in Atlanta, and so it's a big city, and there's a lot of juices. And his main competition right now is just being able to get into a grocery store because he's only privately selling right now. But once he has a validation study, getting it distributed would help him a lot.
So there is a lot of competition in the Atlanta area. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Rader.
Yeah, great job, great work. My question for you is similar to the one I asked the first group, just about getting to use a tool like Facebook ads and having to get granular with it. I want to know if there were any challenges you faced and what you learned from it. If you feel like you're more competent in something like Facebook ads now, or if you just realized it was more daunting than you expected.
So it was my first time actually running a Facebook ad campaign, and it was a little difficult to understand at first, but I was able to do a lot of research. And the only issue I really ran into is that Chef Malik does not have a website, and that's something that is shut down right now. So having a link on the Facebook campaign was hard because I just had to link it to his Instagram, and so it wasn't as good as I hoped it would be.
Good deal. Rudebach.
Nice job. Appreciate your work. A quick question. You mentioned that the numbers on social media went way down once the campaigns ended. It's noticed a huge drop off. What lesson did you learn from observing that?
I guess that one thing that would help him is campaigns, but also we need to be active in like actually communicating with people and getting those reviews, because I think that's a main reason why people weren't interacting with his page, is because he has no reviews and there's just posts here and there.
Thank you.
Polk.
Because there are so many competitors within their market, I'm curious, did you all identify the sustainable competitive advantage for that company?
I think one thing that when we first met with Mr. Archibald and his son, they wanted to market their juice to anybody and everybody, which ideally that's how it would be. But I think they needed to understand that they needed to find a niche or some sort of target audience in order to gain that competitive advantage. And we didn't really ever come to an agreement on what market they were trying to go for, but we did come down to an age range for the time being and things like that. I think Dakota said 18 to 49 is what it was, which is still pretty broad, but I think right now without any product, we just didn't gather what market would give them more of a competitive advantage. It was kind of interesting. Juices aren't really something you look up, or especially a juice brand, at least for me specifically. So I think if he does find a competitive advantage, it'll help him greatly in the future.
Thank you. And last, Gilbert.
Yeah, I'm curious. Something that I found interesting in your presentation is that you had to balance growth and the success and the metrics with inventory constraints, and that there's not an inventory. And so I want to know, how did that impact your approach to this campaign, or how you set out to accomplish some of these objectives?
So one of the main things is in our juices, and in our posts, we made sure that there wasn't like a great call to action, like buy now or anything like that. We wanted it more of know who we are, follow us so you can learn more about us. But it was definitely difficult for Trevor and me to decide how we were going to approach that, especially since we didn't want to overwhelm our client.
Okay. So this presentation, Team 3's presentation was 6 minutes and 2 seconds. Just wanted to mention one of the things about being innovative is that when we talk about internships and when companies start talking about years, we're trying to, some of the students have done 4 or 5 micro internships within a year. So that changes the dynamics of how we start talking about experience, and that's what we're trying to do. So let's give it up for team 3. Let's give a virtual applause for team 3. Can we do reactions? Come on, there we go. A little bit better. Look at me laugh. Okay. So our last presentation for the day is team 5. Team 5, you're up.
Wonderful. All right. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, you're good.
Awesome. All righty. So my name is Yosef McHale, and I work with Jacob Moore with the Major Taylor Cycling Club in Oklahoma City and Tulsa. Quick shout out to our mentors. Mine was Aaron Regis, Jacob's Miles Russell, both from the DFW area. So just a quick introduction. So Major Taylor Cycling Club is a countrywide cycling club. We specifically worked with the chapter out of Oklahoma City and Tulsa. The club president is Myron Knight. He was our main point of communication. He was the head guy that we really talked to. So for the problem statement, really they started off with, they have a confusing website. They had no link between their Facebook accounts and their website, and they just really were not making the most of social media. When we talk about the Facebook, they had 2 Facebook groups. One was private, and that was reserved only for members. And then the second group was public for anyone to see, but they had no really way of, inviting people to join that group. And to the left is a graphic that we made, and actually Dr. Green was the star of that graphic. So for our marketing strategy, we really wanted to start off with a website redesign. We went through and we found a similar bike club in the Oklahoma City area to benchmark off of. They had a lot of really great things on that website, including interactive maps and such like that. We created a whole, like a checklist type thing for them. And they actually had a person in their organization work on the website. I don't think it's finished yet, but it is in the works. We wanted to optimize the social media pages and run advertisements, and we wanted to create more creative content for them to put on their public Facebook pages. So we use this analysis on the right. It was a different marketing checklist. It really just kind of helped us out to figure out where we were, and it really did reveal all the change that we needed in the website and on Facebook. So for the stoplight chart, we found out there was no website traffic through SEMrush. They had no SEO, nothing like that for the website. This was before the website was shut down. So we went through Fiverr and we tried finding people for them to, work on their SEO, and that will be used once the website is complete. For Yellow was their use of Facebook. So they interact really well with their members on the Facebook groups, but it's really kind of confusing because anyone can post at will. And we found that to be put in the yellow category just because if it was a little bit more organized, it definitely would be in the green. And that's why in the green, community involvement is located there, just because anyone can post. It's really a community feel. People just post, when they're riding, and if anyone wants to join them and stuff like that.
So for our recommendations, we recommended that our client would create a posting schedule so that will make it easier for him to distribute his posts and just get more content out there. And we also recommend that we create a countdown because it's a small business, and so the countdown keeps their name fresh in their minds. And so to the right, that's kind of what the detailed schedule would look like, and it shows you the days, the time of day, and the week. It goes by week. And so for our last recommendation, we also recommend that they they use the event page, because that way that the club can be separate and you can just focus on the specific event at tabs. So for our results, we were able to create a detailed posting schedule for the next 3 months. And some of the content is to your right there. It's kind of like the countdown that I was talking about in the previous slide. And so that would be like some of the content created for the next 3 months. We were also able to make the Facebook page more attractive, because at the beginning it was kind of harder for an interested member to know where to go or how to find contact how to get in contact with our client. And so we kind of helped them clean that up and get some more members. The event page, we also were able to get some more traffic or get direct traffic by using the event page, because we use the event page to help club members sign up. So that helps Myron focus on one thing through a different aspect. So for our lessons learned, we learned that communication is very, very important, because it helped us realize that when we weren't on the same page, and it's hard to market because we can take things one different direction than what he was planning. And so just communicating that would just help us get a better overall idea of what direction we want to take the club. We also learned how to create content for a specific event, because at first we were working on just marketing the club itself, but then we were able to pinpoint a specific event and create countdown posts and things like that. And also we were able to sharpen our marketing tools using Canva and Fiverr. So in conclusion, we were able to help enhance Major Taylor's online presence. And we also learned firsthand how to work with a small business and just get better overall experience in a real world aspect. So with that being said, we'd like to thank Dr. Green and the interviewers for coming on, and also shout out to our mentors, Miles and Aaron, for helping us through this semester.
Thank you so much. We are going to, is the client in the room?
No.
Okay, so we're gonna go with Rader, Ruderbach, Polk, Gilbert, and O'Donnell.
Yeah, great work, guys. I had a question about when you guys got a lot of experience working with social media marketing, scheduling posts, creating graphics. I know there were probably a lot of learning experiences there, but do either of you now have a passion to work in social media? Is that something that you may have in your future, or how do you feel toward kind of that field now?
Yeah, actually, social media is the career path I'm going to be taking after college. So this is definitely something that sparked my interest for sure.
Okay. Anybody? Okay. Ruderbach?
So Jacob, when you were talking, you made reference to direct traffic to the event page. I wasn't clear whether they already had direct traffic and you guys increased it, or that you started from scratch. Would you clarify that, please?
Yes, sir. So when we first started working with Major Taylor, they have a page for the club, but it's private. And so they didn't really have a way for people to get into the club. And so the event page is a way for people to see the events and see like what the club posts without actually getting to the club.
Okay.
Good job,
Polk.
guys.
Thank you. Polk?
I have less of a question and more of an observation. Very good job in creating the posting calendar. Oftentimes people or companies who have never worked with social media, they often don't know when is the most appropriate time to post and how often they should be posting. So very good idea with creating the calendar and giving them at least 3 months out to continue that on. Good job.
Good deal. Gilbert?
Less of a question and more of an observation as well, because I was on y'all's rehearsal, and this is a night and day difference, because this is infinitely better than your rehearsal last week. So I want to know what sort of Michael Jordan, LeBron James infusion the two of you went through over the past week. Everything from the slide deck itself to your talking points, everything just seemed a lot more clean and concise. So can you talk about what y'all have done over the past week to prepare for today?
Well, mostly because the last time you heard us speak, it was actually our first time presenting. So we practiced from that point to now. And we took some of your recommendations and put them in there. If you notice, we added the schedule after you recommended it, and we put in the like a screenshot of the post that we created. Those are both your ideas. So yeah, appreciate it.
Thank you. Miss O'Donnell? You on mute? You're still on mute. Mute.
I apologize. I just said great job. And if you guys had another month, what would you add to your presentation?
really the website. We hoped the website would have been done by the end of the internship, but it wasn't, because once the website is created, I feel like a lot more can be done with advertisements and just directing traffic to the website to try to get more people to actually join the bike club.
Also, I forgot to mention earlier, we have started on the media release and it's in the process of being published. And so we would add that also.
Great. Yeah. Thank you.
Team fast presentation was 5 minutes and 38 seconds. So it was on par. So all presentations were in the framework. So now I just want to right now, are there any guests in the room that would like to say something? I mean, Dr. Holden, I think left. Dr. Holden, are you still there? Okay. So we did 5 presentations under almost under an hour. So I think it's great testimony to the presenters. And so what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna have a wrap up in February. Does any students want to say anything? I know this is gonna trip you out. Does any student have anything to say?
I'll say something.
Okay.
So
Yes.
I just wanted to say congratulations, everyone, and y'all did a great job. And thank you for all the people that came to ask us questions.
Oh, thank you, sir. That's a first for me. Oh, we got some love. Look at that. Nicole, you get reactions. Look at that. Let me give you something. There you go. Good job. Good job. Anybody else? So we're gonna finish it off, and we're gonna start backwards. I'm gonna ask Rader, O'Donnell, Gilbert, Pope, and we're gonna end it with Dr. Rudabach.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for just allowing me to come be a part of this. I think that this was just fantastic jobs all around. I got to start with Dr. Green back when he first joined OBU, and just getting to see what he's still being able to do with students, getting them that real world experience, I think is very undervalued in universities. And so I'm just glad that he's giving me that opportunity to work on these actual hard skills that just get overlooked. And so, yeah, just appreciate the hard work and the effort and presentations.
Hey, Connor, I'm still showing your media release for the airport.
My capstone. Yeah.
Hey, there you go, your capstone. Amen. Miss O'Donnell.
I'd just like to thank all of you for having me today as well, because I continue to learn through these forums. It's just a great opportunity for me, and surprise, I'm a student as well. So, and I just have to say that I think that Dr. Green is the greatest. I wish he was a professor of professors, if that's a thing, and that professors that are in this era can learn, or in this generation can learn so much from Dr. Green. This is a great forum. I mean, it's so robust and adds so much to your semester. And I think that we're all blessed that we've all had him as an instructor.
Yeah, I want to thank Miss O'Donnell. She's one of my former MBA students in Tennessee, and she had a consulting project. She had a couple of consulting projects. She could probably tell you some more stories. So we want to thank her.
Stories, or scary stories.
And another friend of ours, an alumni graduate, Mr. Gilbert.
Yeah, really good presentations today. It again makes my heart happy seeing just how mature and poised all of you sound over Zoom. And I've seen all of you in person as well, so I know that you come across that way in person as well. So really great job. And for anyone who's graduating, I don't know how many of y'all are seniors or about to finish up here the next week or so. Congrats on reaching that finish line as well. And I will actually be on campus for the graduation because my brother-in-law is walking from the communications department. So if any of y'all see me around, I'll be there with my family. Please stop by and say hi. It's really been a pleasure getting to know you all.
Hey, Conley and Gilbert, my students need jobs, man. So we got some people still looking for jobs. So
hey, anybody who wants to get into InfoSec, I know a lot of people.
I'm not too proud to beg. We got some folks that need to be working. So we have Dr. Polk. Dr. Polk is also we've collaborated on several papers with students from OBU. So Dr. Polk, you're on.
Speaking of that, Ms. O'Donnell, it's nice to see you. We've collaborated on a paper before, but we've always gone through email, so I've never put a face with the name. So nice to meet you.
Thank you. You as well.
In regards to what you guys are doing, it's a phenomenal work. Something to keep in mind as you move forward. Never rest when it comes to planning and strategizing. What works today may not be a good idea or may not be financially feasible in a couple of years from now. So just because you know how to do it now, and these are great suggestions that you're making, they don't work for every organization. They don't work in every industry. And most likely they will have to change at some point. So just keep that in mind as you move forward.
Good deal. So I do want to mention, so we had Mr. Gilbert and Dr. Rudebach. We practice before the presentations. That's how much it means to us. So we practice, try to get our students together. The other thing I want to mention, well, I think we have a distinction that each of the students we didn't assign them mentors. They got their own mentors. And that helped them because we're trying to help them become more professional. And so that was a great job. So Dr. Rudebach is a friend, and I think somebody mentioned he broke the most records for me giving candy to. So Dr. Rudebach, you have the final words before we wrap it up.
Well, it's just so great to see you guys. I've had all of these students, or most of the students, when they were freshmen up through now, and to watch you guys grow and develop and mature and just become young professionals who are very good at what you do. It's just, Brandon talked about making his heart was singing. Mine's the same way. I just feel like a proud grandpa when I watch you guys work. So thank you all very much for letting me be a part of your lives.
So it just keeps getting better in my class because that's what we do. And so what I'm saying is, if you really want to see stuff, this was amazing. We have a second session on Thursday. So get your popcorn out and your cold refreshment beverage. That's non-alcoholic, by the way, because we don't do that. And we just want you to come back and enjoy yourself. So class, I'm taking names, so make sure you in the Zoom meeting. And you guys have a wonderful and blessed day. See you later.
Thank you so much.